The Abundant Mind. In a grand city where marble buildings stretched toward the sky and golden chandeliers illuminated lavish halls, there lived a man named Lucius. He was a merchant of great wealth, his fortune built on decades of hard work and cunning trades. His house was a palace, his clothes were made of the finest silk, and his table was always full of exquisite food and drink. To the people around him, Lucius seemed to have everything one could ever want: wealth, status, and all the comforts money could buy. But despite his abundance, Lucius was never truly happy. His life was consumed by a constant desire for more. He had the finest jewels, the most impressive collection of art, and lands that stretched far beyond his eyes could see. Yet, he was always restless, always longing for something new to add to his collection, something to fill the emptiness that lingered in his heart. One day, Lucius decided that he would invite his closest friends and business partners to a grand banquet. The lavish feast would outdo any that had come before it, and Lucius wanted to ensure that he would impress everyone in the city with his wealth. As preparations for the banquet began, Lucius instructed his servants to spare no expense: golden plates, rare spices, and exotic fruits, all to be displayed in abundance. As the evening drew near, Lucius stood before his mirror, admiring his appearance. His finest tunic draped elegantly over his frame, and his diamond-studded rings gleamed in the candlelight. Yet, even as he gazed at his own reflection, he felt a strange sense of unease. It was as if, despite all he had, something was still missing. When the banquet began, the guests arrived, impressed by the opulence surrounding them. They marveled at the grandeur of Lucius' home and praised him for his success. The wine flowed freely, and laughter filled the air. Yet, as the night wore on, Lucius couldn't shake the growing feeling that something was lacking. He watched his guests with a sense of detachment, his eyes scanning the room, searching for something that would fulfill the emptiness he felt. It was then that an old man entered the room, a simple figure dressed in worn clothes and carrying nothing but a small satchel. His face was weathered, but his eyes sparkled with a quiet wisdom. He stood at the doorway for a moment, taking in the splendor of the banquet, before slowly making his way to Lucius. Lucius, slightly annoyed by the intrusion of such a humble figure, approached the man. "Who are you, and what brings you to my feast?" he asked, his voice carrying an air of authority. The old man smiled gently, bowing his head. "I am but a traveler," he said, his voice calm and kind. "I heard of your great wealth and success and wish to see the man who has everything." Lucius scoffed. "I do have everything, do I not? I am rich beyond measure, and yet I still find myself searching for more. What is it that you seek, old man?" The old man met Lucius' gaze and smiled. "Ah, it is not what I seek, but what you seek, young merchant. You have amassed great wealth, but I wonder if you have found the one thing that will truly make you rich." Lucius was taken aback. "What do you mean?" he asked, his curiosity piqued. The old man's eyes twinkled. "True wealth, my friend, is not in gold or possessions. It is not in lands or jewels. True wealth lies in the heart. It lies in gratitude for what you already have, for the simple joys of life, and for the peace that comes from appreciating the present moment. That, my dear merchant, is the abundance you seek." Lucius stared at the old man in disbelief. "Gratitude? But I already have everything I could ever want. What more could there be?" The old man smiled, his gaze filled with compassion. "You have much, yes, but you are never content. You are always chasing after more. Your wealth fills your house, but it does not fill your heart. You have not yet learned to appreciate the riches that already exist within you." The words struck Lucius like a bolt of lightning. For the first time, he realized that despite all his wealth, he had never truly appreciated what he had. He had always focused on the next acquisition, the next conquest. His life had been one endless race towards something more, something he could never quite reach. Lucius paused, looking around at the banquet hall, the sparkling chandeliers, the fine food, the laughter of his guests, and for the first time, he saw it all through a different lens. These things, while grand, were fleeting. He could acquire more jewels, more lands, more riches, but they would never bring him lasting happiness. He could never fill the emptiness in his heart with more possessions. "I see now," Lucius said quietly, his voice tinged with realization. "True wealth is not in what I have, but in how I appreciate what I already possess." The old man nodded, his eyes warm with understanding. "Yes, exactly. The most abundant life is one filled with gratitude, not just for what you own, but for what you experience. A grateful heart is the richest of all." Lucius was silent for a long moment, reflecting on the old man's words. He realized that his pursuit of wealth had distracted him from the simple joys of life, the love of family, the beauty of a sunset, the feeling of peace in the quiet moments. He had been so focused on accumulating more, he had never stopped to appreciate what was already around him. As the night wore on, Lucius felt a change within himself. He no longer sought the approval of his guests or the admiration of the people around him. He had received a greater gift than any jewel or treasure could offer, the realization that contentment comes not from accumulating more, but from being grateful for what we already have. The old man left the banquet as quietly as he had arrived, leaving behind only the wisdom that Lucius would carry with him forever. From that day on, Lucius began to live his life with a heart full of gratitude. He no longer measured his wealth by the number of possessions he owned, but by the abundance of love, peace, and appreciation that filled his life. And though his riches remained, Lucius found that his true wealth grew not in his vaults, but in his heart. He had discovered the greatest treasure of all, the abundance that comes from living a life full of gratitude. And that, he knew, was the most priceless wealth of all. Thanks for watching. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to give it a like, share it with others who might benefit, and subscribe to the channel for more valuable content like this. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.